D-Lake creates.
Artificial intelligence, aka AI for short, is literally everywhere. Some people are absolutely terrified, while others are pretty excited. Which side are you on? Does it help content creation and marketers, or does it hurt us? Stay tuned as we answer that and figure out how to harness the power of AI for next level content creation on this episode of Digital Ninjas and D-Lake Media.
Hey, I'm Darren Lake, and welcome to this podcast series collaboration between Digital Ninjas, D-Lake Creative, and Podpaste. We're on a mission to supercharge your brand, company, or organization and help you change the world through digital strategy, training, and insights. Each episode, we answer questions and talk about one specific idea to help you market and run your business better. And we do that by making them easy to digest, short, and concise, because we've all got a business to run.
What is this series about?
And it's actually a panel discussion that I ended up being a part of that was really awesome. And I was joined by Natalie Rafa, who is the founder and CEO of SplashUp, which is an e-commerce software company. Also Jensen Glier, who is a growth hacker extraordinaire, absolute wizard. And Brendan Hill, who's another content creation wizard. And he also is a venture capitalist investor. And then obviously myself, I was a part of it. Darren Lake, D-Lake Creates. I do a running fitness brand. So what will you learn in this episode?
Why we might not be there yet, why humans are necessary in creation in general, crazy AI story about a fake Instagram account that was used with an AI bot that got sponsorship, why it all depends on your audience, and more. Let's get into it.
Wanted to touch on creativity in conjunction with artificial intelligence. Do you think we'll always need that human element, or will we get to a stage where a program like Copy AI is writing funnier jokes than, Jerry Seinfeld, Dave Chappelle, and Bill Burr?
I definitely think it's going to need some form of human interaction. We're not quite there yet. There's still a while before the singularity. But we're still going to have that point where you need that validation, whether it's writing copy, whether it's generating images, whether it's having AI generating videos, or these days AI generating short films. You know what I mean? You always need that human interaction to validate it, because humans are the ones that are going to convert on it or be engaged in some way through it. So you're always going to need that.
Yes, I agree with Jensen. But at the same time, I'm also scared because, scientists have come up with a fake influencer that's based on, pure AI, made her have an Instagram page. She became an influencer, had thousands of followers, and they were just based on Instagram-y sort of, fake photos generated with the same person, and she was getting crazy amount of engagement, then getting sponsored. What started off as an experiment ended up being an actual thing in business. And so that's a bit scary. I think when we see things like that, it does send a bit of a signal around, what's going to happen next, especially around for example, modeling. Brands trying to cut down on costs. They get AI generated models where they've got the clothes fittings all on, using AI. So the amount of creativity will definitely have AI helping it out, but it is a bit scary with it is moving fast. And it's one of these things where I don't want to sort of just say it will always count, on human beings, because I think we're living in an era where things are moving really fast, and 10 years from now we might not realize how things evolve. Our parents were really surprised. I remember my parents always say they were super surprised when they would watch James Bond movies and they would see a James Bond pulling up a mobile phone and be I'm going to call someone, and they would just laugh. And now they've got an iPhone that they're really easily using. So I would like to think that humans will always be in the loop. But I also am a bit scared, to be honest.
I think it's going to be a bit of a mixed bag. You have your social effects, and then you have your actual business effects. From a business standpoint, I think it'll be a great tool to implement. You know what I mean? You look at ZMO.ai, where you can artificially create a whole bunch of models and then throw your product on them and change the shape, and they look incredibly real. Next step will be like generating video content or having like artificial influencers you can populate, and Deep Word and Synesthesia are kind of moving into those platforms where you just need to take a recording of some person and then the AI changes their facial features based on the text or the audio or whatnot. It's really interesting. But then when you start talking about like metaverses and, where you've got completely digital influencers where people are just rocking up, they've got a set, they've got a green screen, they've got like a capture suit on, and they're interacting with people inside a metaverse as an influencer. The stage past that is where you have an artificial intelligence replacing said influencer. So I think like the ethics around that is a different story, but from a business use case, you're looking at like the themes, the topics, all of the sort of psychological systems around like problem solution and frameworks are going to still be there. It's just the medium that's changing, and your understanding of how the medium changes is where you're going to be able to better position your business to adapt faster. Say, for example, if you want to play in the metaverse, get an understanding of platforms like Unity. If you're looking at sort of blockchain technology, understand like Solidity and distributed ledger technology. You just really need to choose like what's going to be the next stage for my vertical and how can I adapt that. If it's e-commerce, all right, cool, we can lower our costs by getting rid of some models and replacing them with digital ones. If we're talking about like education, all right, I can build out a whole learning management system, like an e-course or some sort of online course. And I don't have to present it. I can just get some AI to do it for me. But all I need to do is write it up, or even they can help me write up part of it.
Yeah, I definitely love this point, especially around like, getting the initial creativity, but then using your own to it's sort of why like I think machine learning will be something not necessarily AI, because like I think AI is more like the application of that human intelligence and being able to do that, apply these human activities and mental models. But machine learning, like processing imagery and automating things a lot quicker, I think will be definitely the place where like ideas, creative ideas will be born but not executed, I don't think.
See, like our kind of focus at Together AI is literally, we've got a digital companion for children. It helps them navigate how they grow up, building emotional intelligence and everything else. The medium we're currently using is an app. Yep, they chat to it, happy days. Now, all we need to do is literally take that brain and that logic and put it into a metaverse. And they've got a digital companion in a digital world that's helping them navigate said digital world. That's one example of sort of like adapting to the new medium as it comes forward. But you've got to look at your vertical and what's required.
Yeah, we're going the opposite way. We're actually doing like non-AI stuff. And even though we started off as AI, but it's sort of like we went to, like what do people want? What are the basics? And then we will build up intelligence on top of that rather than start with intelligence. But everyone's very different. And so like the vertical is definitely, it changes.
Well, that goes back to like your true audience and what's going to resonate with your audience. Some people in your audience will be like, nah, fuck that new tech shit. I want old school. I want to see someone face to face. I'm just happy with that. And you're like, gold. I just need 1,000 of them or 100,000 or whatever. And that's my people. Yep. If that's your thing and that works, do it. But just remember, like, AI and machine learning, it's mainly here to help you automate most of your stuff.
Exactly. And like especially in e-commerce, for example, there's so many different players around recommendations and, we help you optimize your user journey using AI. And there's a lot of competitors that we have in that space. Our, theory is our hypothesis is that it's not about relying on these like AI models. It's really about having that direct human input that helps you recalibrate these models rather than just rely on them completely. That's why I'm not a really, you need that creative input, that human input. Otherwise, it's just a pure guessing game. It's sort of like you go into a store and like the store assistant is like hiding behind a counter and then just trying to help you. But you need that sort of like, back and forth input from the customer in real time to help you like calibrate what you can help them with. And I think that creativity it still applies because you need this like human intelligence that's based off like millions of data points, and that I don't think we're there yet.
And every business will have these small little nuances that can't necessarily be taught, I should say. So say, for example, retail, it's like, seeing a customer grab a piece of clothing and then putting it down and then taking it and just being like, oh, I was going to buy that, and then convincing the customer to buy it. Like little small soft skills. And those soft skills might be something different depending on sort of what vertical. It might be like, having a one-on-one with an actual person and dealing with a bespoke problem. There'll always be things that can't translate to the use of AI and ML.
Product finders, interestingly, are something that are on the rise in e-commerce. Like if you're looking to buy, a washing machine or something, you sort of go through, if you break down like talking to a store assistant with functional products, you've got different sort of like rule-based questions that you go with, like, how big is your apartment? How many people need it? Like, do you need like eco-friendly? Like, how important is it to have, like a environmentally water smart, whatever. And so then they recommend some products. And I think that, this is being like automated but they're more like algorithms. And I think there's lots of confusion around what is AI and what is just like an algorithm process that's just replicating basic human rules.
All right, thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate it. You know the drill. Make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, depending on wherever app you're on, whether you're listening to this as a podcast or you're watching it on YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you get this. It really helps us get the word out. And if you're feeling this and you've gotten some value, please make sure you share this with someone that you know. And we'll see you on the next episode.